in County Cork, there was a young man named John who was courting three girls and couldn't decide which one to marry, as they all had equal fortunes and were equally pretty. So he came up with a unique plan to discover which of the three was the best match for him. An old man had died, so John went to the funeral, where he left behind his blackthorn walking stick, on top of a nearby tomb, accidentally on purpose. That night, the three girls noticed that John was very quiet, too quiet. "What is troubling you, John?" said Mary. "Oh, I am sorry for my beautiful blackthorn," he said. "Did you lose it?" "I did not," said John, "but I left it on the top of the tomb next to the grave of the man who was buried today, and whoever of you three will go for it is the woman I'll marry." Well, Mary refused to go, and Peggy refused to go, but Kate said, "Stand to your word, and I'll bring the stick." So Kate left and went for the stick. The walk was a long one, but she finally arrived and was just picking up the blackthorn when a voice called from inside the tomb, "Leave the stick and open this tomb." Kate was terrified, but something forced her to open the tomb. She couldn't help herself. "Take the lid off," said the dead man, "and help me out. Now, take me on your back." She couldn't refuse, but took the lid from the coffin, raised the dead man onto her back, and walked until they came to the village. "Stop at the first house," said the dead man. Kate stopped. "Oh, we cannot go in," said he, when they came up to the door. "The people inside have holy water. Take me to the next house." She went to the next house, but they had holy water as well. They went to the third house. "Go in here," said the dead man. "They have no holy water." And so they went in and stopped in the kitchen. "Find me something to eat and drink," the dead man ordered. Kate found a dish of oatmeal, but nothing to drink. "Then bring me a dish and a razor, and come with me to the room upstairs," the dead man said. Upstairs, three young men were sleeping in bed, and Kate held the dish while the dead man drew their blood. He then closed their wounds, leaving no mark on them. "Mix this now with the oatmeal, then get a dish for yourself and another for me." Kate got 2 plates, mixed the oatmeal and blood, then fetched 2 spoons. Kate wore a handkerchief on her head. She put this under her neck and tied it and pretended to eat, but hid the food in the handkerchief till her plate was empty. "Have you et?" said the dead man. "I have," answered Kate. "Then take me back to where you found me." Again, Kate went against her will, but not before hiding the handkerchief with the bloody oatmeal in the folds of her dress. On the way back, Kate casually inquired if there was any cure for the young men. "Only one," said he. "If any of that food had been spared, 3 bits of it in each young man's mouth would bring them to life again." Kate made a mental note of this revelation. "You see this field?" said the dead man, gesturing towards their surroundings. "I do." "Well, there is gold buried in it. See those 3 piles of small stones? Underneath each one is a pot of gold." Kate went on, without stopping, till she came to the wall of the graveyard, and just then they heard the cock crow. "Ah, my girl, that cock has saved your life. But for him, I would have you in the grave with me for evermore, and I wouldn't have told you about the field and the gold. But put me where you found me, and settle me well. I cannot meddle with you now, and 'tis sorry I am to part with you." "Will you tell me who you are?" said Kate. "Have you ever heard of a man called Edward Durnby, or his son Michael?" "I have," said Kate. "Well, Edward Durnby was my father. I am Michael. That Blackthorn you came for was a lucky stick for you, but if you had known about me, you wouldn't have come. Now settle me carefully, and close the tomb behind you." Kate placed him in the coffin, closed the door, took the blackthorn stick, and went home, where she hid the stick in the thatch above the door. Her sister let her in. "Where did you spend the night?" she said. "Mother will kill you." "Don't worry about me," answered Kate, and they went to bed. In the morning the 3 young men were found dead, and when Kate's father and mother heard it, they hurried off to the wake. When they came home, Kate was still in bed. The mother took a stick and began to beat her for being out all night and in bed all day. "Get up now, you lazy stump of a girl," said she, "and go to the wake." When Kate reached the house, there was a great crowd of people and great wailing. The father was going wild and wringing his hands. Kate took him aside. "What would you give me if I could bring them back to life?" "I would give you all that I have." "All I want," said Kate, "is your eldest son to marry, and the field of stone heaps as my fortune. The field of stone heaps as my fortune." The father agreed, and Kate told everyone to leave. She bolted the door and took the handkerchief from beneath her dress and put 3 bites of the oatmeal and the blood in the mouth of each young man. She then opened the door and told the father to go and wake his sons. He called each one by name, and they woke and were greatly surprised to see all the people around. Kate went away home and told her father and mother of her night's adventure, and said that she would soon tell them more. That day she met John. "Did you find my stick?" "Find your own stick," said she, "and never speak to me again in your life." In a week's time, she went to the house of the 3 young men and said to the father, "I have come for what you promised me." The father called the eldest son aside then and asked him, would he marry Kate? "I will," said the son, and 3 days later the 2 were married. They enjoyed 3 weeks of bliss, but then Kate said, We must be working. Come with me tomorrow, and I'll give you and your brothers, and my father and brothers, plenty to do." She took them next day to one of the stone heaps. "Throw these stones to one side," said she. Well, they thought it was crazy, but knew better than to argue with Kate. They dug down 6 feet and found a flat stone with an iron hook in it. They lifted the stone, and under it was a pot of gold. "There is more gold yet," said Kate. "Come now to the other heaps." And so there was. On the side of the pot under the 3rd heap was an inscription they couldn't make out. So after they emptied it, they placed the pot by the side of their front door. A poor scholar learned of this and came to examine the pot, and deciphered it as reading, "There is more gold to the south of each pot." The young man gave the poor scholar a coin, and then went to work, and found even more gold south of each stone heap. It was assumed that the gold was Dernby's, but they couldn't be sure, and in the end, what did they care? And whether Kate and her husband lived happily ever after is no business of yours or mine. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Till midnight. Cheers! Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here. That's PX here. While the music is the classic Ghost Processional by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody!